So.
Welcome to Funny Florida Females. I'm Clarice Kentwood.
And I'm Patti.
And we are both comedians and Florida trans.
Are we recording?
Wait a minute. Holy.
Okay, yeah, what do we got?
Live here.
What color you want?
Chalkboard wall behind us. So if you're listening at home.
You can see the
we forgot to write
YouTube
anything.
channel.
Yeah.
Or behind the scenes.
This is a behind the snes take
This
too,
is
for
the
sure.
behind the scenes
I
take.
think funny.
Hey, don't forget to check out the social medias for this video.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I spelled it wrong
I'm
last
sorry.
time.
We will reset.
Okay. And what was it? Season 1, Episode 5.
Correct.
That would be kind of cool to keep in the episode. I ain't gonna lie. That was actually.
That was a cool behind the scenes thing we do.
Okay, we're gonna try this again.
Yeah, we're gonna
Watch out for yelling.
I'm sorry.
No problem.
Florida's females so funny.
Very good. So, Clarice, we wanted to share with our listeners about what fun we had with our live taping at our last episode
At the joke joint.
at the Joke Joint.
Yeah. It's always fun now.
Wasn't that way cool though?
That was
people
really cool.
came out and cheered us on, and it was just
Yeah,
really
we
neat
had
to
a
do
live audience.
Yeah. So while we were there, we were lucky to meet up with Joanne Vidal, who is one of the co-owners of the Joke Joint, and we just wanted to share some audio with you of our chat with her.
Yeah. All right, let's listen. And now we have an interview with Jess Torres. She's in her 20s, and she in her 20s just started her professional career in the entertainment industry as an actor. She's returned to the entertainment biz in a different art form, stand-up comedy. She's has a lifelong goal and dream for her. Over the last 2 years, over the last 2 years, Orlando-based Jess has become one of Central Florida's regular comedians performing in venues from coast to coast. Oh, how did you come to be a comedian, Jess?
That is a great question. I get it asked often. So, like I mentioned, it's always been a passion of mine. Like, when I was younger, I've always watched stand-up. I studied acting, but it was always kind of like a bucket list thing. I'd really like to do that one day. And, life happens, different things come to play, and your dreams kind of get pushed down, so that other people can achieve theirs. And about 2 years ago, my husband and I separated, and I needed an outlet. So
A life change.
From pain comes comedy.
From pain comes comedy. Yes. So we were separated, but still living under the same roof, and I needed a hobby. And all of the other moms were like, "You should take up tennis," and I was like, "I need more than 1 hour in the middle of the day." So I was like, well, I always wanted to do this thing, and so I dedicated like one night a week to it. So Sunday nights, I took a class at Zach in Orlando. I took like a stand-up comedy class, and then after class, the instructor of that class, Ollie Flores, would always say like, after class, I'm going for food and drinks if anybody wants additional free class.
There you go. That's stuff you learn.
That's where the real conversation happens.
So yeah, the class was from 7:30 to 9:30. My son goes to bed at 9:30, so I was in no rush to get home. And so Sunday nights kind of just became like my nights, and I'd go to class and then talk shop. We'd figure it out. Sometimes we'd go to mics and do different things. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. Stand-up situation. And so I did it, and I performed my first time, and a lot of people came, and I was like, oh, I did it. And I don't do anything half-assed, full ass only. So I was like, I'm gonna do it to the best of my ability, and I feel like it went well. And all my friends and family were like, you're gonna keep going, right? And I was like, oh, like I just thought I'd do it, like, that one time, and everyone's like, no, you have to keep going, with the exception of my mother. When I was done, she was like,
Mother's like, oh my.
Yeah, no, I was like, what did you think? Like, how'd I do? And she was like, did you get it out of your system?
Oh.
Oh my.
Were you a little bluer than she was?
No, I got bluer as we went on, but not that first set. I was pretty even keel, and so I was like, okay. By the second time I did SAC, I said that, when I opened up my set, and I was like, my mom asked, this answers that question. I obviously didn't get it on my system, and my mother's not here tonight. So,
very good, very good.
So then it pivoted the set and my content a little bit differently. So yeah, that's how I originally got started. I just needed to be out of the house, and so I guess I got pretty good at it, and then my name got thrown around, and then I just started getting booked. So,
Excellent. Yeah. So, so you said you pretty much travel all around the different markets in Florida.
Yes.
Well, so, and I find I've been doing it, actually on my 7th comedy anniversary is coming up in a couple weeks. That there are definitely different scenes, like in different areas. Orlando kind of has this thing. And so do you feel like you need to tailor your material, or do you do different things, or how do you approach it?
Yes, I do. I mean, I think theater training kind of helps with that, because when I get to whatever venue, especially if I've never played the room before, I kind of like read the room and I'm like, okay, I don't know if I should do this joke here. Like, I kind of like survey what's happening before I start talking, and I'm kind of, sometimes it's hit or miss. I will say, like, one of the most odd markets I think is Cocoa, only because there's like people who are very left and very right, and you can just like drive a mile down the road and you don't know what you're getting. It's kind of like, well, they liked me, at this kava bar, but then at this fish broil they don't, like, so it's kind of
That's
like
very right.
like you're not quite sure what's gonna happen, and people's opinions. I always joke, it's kind of like, if your kids like me, then you probably won't, like, so it just depends on like the
Do you
space.
do political humor, or do you stay away from that because of the polarity of...
Correct. So I'm not a political comedian. I do make nods to politics in my set, and it's quick and it's brief, but literally every time, like, someone will be like, well, like, that's why you're divorced, or, whatever, and I'm like, well, guy, like, thanks for sharing.
The groans or the crickets, like crickets.
You've seen me on stage for 10 minutes. I'm glad you're able to assess
most men,
problems.
most men do that. They'll say that, or like, I played Bonkers last weekend, and it was my first time featuring at Bonkers, and everybody was so nice, and the first night, this one lady just came up to me after saying, she was like, women shouldn't talk about politics.
Oh boy.
Oh my.
And I didn't think I heard her correctly, because she was inebriated. So I was like, I apologize, what did you say? And she's like, women, they shouldn't talk about politics. And I was like, okay, but literally the only thing I said that night in regards to politics was, my dating standards, because I'm single. So I have a joke about, like, like my non-negotiables are the hard R's. And my hard R's are Republicans, Ron DeSantis, racism, rifles, and rape.
Oh, wow.
and people are always like, huh? And I'm like, yeah. So then afterwards, it's kind of like, why are you upset? Are you into me and you're Republican?
Right.
Sorry. Like, I mean, that's kind of like as political
Are
as
they?
I get.
I mean, and the idea that they're more upset about the Republican than the rape.
Yes,
right?
So that's the joke. So the joke,
Oh boy.
yeah, the joke is actually, I was on dating apps for a very brief time, and this was an actual conversation I had with someone on a dating app, and, he wasn't being very clear, and, he was like, what do you want? What are you into? And I was like, what am I into? And I was like, can you be a little bit more specific? And he said, what are your non-negotiables? And so I said, all the hard R's. And he said, all the hard R's. And I said, yeah, Republicans, Ron DeSantis, racism, rifles, and rape. And he typed back, rape? And I went, this is where you'd like to start? And so that's kind of like one of my jokes. And it was just kind of like, I obviously instantly deleted the apps, because I'm kind of like, this is what's going on here. It's kind of like that man, like, he went through everything. It was just like, rape. And it's like, yeah, I'm not into it. Like, I mean, you asked me my non-negotiables, so.
Like, in that
Might as well get it out of the way. Yeah.
That you're
Let's
not
just be
into that.
transparent, I mean, to each his own. I'm not here to kink shame, but, like, I'm just letting you know that's not my space.
I love that.
Do you find that being a female comedian and surrounded by men, do you, like, get hit on being single now?
Yes.
Like, is that an issue, or are you single and kind of okay with it?
I mean, I wish I'd get hit on more by people in the audience, not comedians. You know, for a number of reasons. Top of the list, like dental insurance. Like, you know, it's like I'm not gonna date anyone who has no benefits. Like, you know, like that's not. But you know, in all seriousness, like I really, even though it's a hobby, I treat it as my part-time job, and so I wouldn't date any coworkers. And you know, there's several lovely people in this industry, but I mean, as you ladies know, we all get into it for some reason, and you know, we all have our little dark clouds as well. And I mean, I obviously come with my own. I don't want to have a thunderstorm, so it's kind of like I don't want to date another comedian.
And let's
it's
face
like,
it, yeah, right.
yeah, we're just like walking around like, you know, two sad saps.
So, exactly.
It's not sexy.
It's not happy. It's not funny.
It's not. Yeah, and yeah.
Although
there's
farting in bed is allowed. Yeah.
just- yes, but there have been, you know, situations, and it's just so
One
interesting
good thing.
because like they don't. I don't know. Like it's. I mean, misogyny is alive and well in the comedy industry. I'm not gonna lie, but I think that's in any market. So, I'm in a strange space where I'm older, but I look younger. So, it gets dicey by the way like people approach me because I'm older, but I'm new to comedy, but I look like I'm part of a younger scene, and so.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's a very like weird balance to have, and so sometimes you know one of these young men will say something, and I'm kind of like, excuse me, like, and they're like, oh yeah, we forgot you're a woman, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not a girl, like you know,
Like I'm a mother.
yeah,
you
respect
know?
me, yeah, like I'm a whole child, like you know, but yeah, and then I also have like a lot of rules about that too, like. I have a joke where like everybody's like, "What's your age cutoff?" Because I'm 40, and I'm kind of like, I don't let anyone push in. I could have pushed out. So anyone anyone like under 28 is like out. You know? So yeah, no.
Do you do material about your son?
I have one political joke that people, I mean, they don't like, but he's heard it. But it's about school shooters and like how it's a fine line of, you know, how as a parent, I mean, the odds are, it's just facts. Like, my kid is going to school with a school shooter. Like that's just
more than likely.
I mean, that's just life. Like, you know, so there's a way, like, as a parent, that we have to navigate that. There are some people who are, you know, left of center, and you're like, I don't know, I don't like the way, like, Jacob looks at him. Like, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, you want to be nice to that kid, but not too nice. So it's kind of like, I do, like, this whole joke about, like, the dance that, like, I have to do as a parent. And then, you know, I basically say, like, I want them to get along, and so much to the point that, like, he spares my son's life when he brings a gun to school.
Right.
And people just, like, it's funny because the parents or
Is that one of
millennials
the
or people
crickets?
no,
No?
like people my age or parents will laugh because they're just like, it's true, like we have to
Oh,
laugh
God,
because
yeah.
it's sad. But people who are like an older demographic, like
They gasp.
boomers or people who own guns, they're kind of like, that's not funny, and I'm like, because it could kill my kid. Like, it's like, you know, why are you mad? Like, this is just my
little dark
reality.
humor.
Yeah.
I'm like,
All right,
listen,
we're
I'm
gonna
just
have
living
to,
the experience.
Take a little break here at this point to get some news in from one of our sponsors.